Um, Aniket, can you hear me?
Yes, because I can hear you.
Yeah, I think we can start now.
Yeah, go ahead, please. One second, let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. So today's webinar is about data science for the Gen AI era, skills for working professionals. So let me just introduce the speaker. So today's speaker is Mr. Ankit Chabra. He's the Director of Technical Product Management, Generative AI in Monet. With over 13 years of experience in AI/ML, he has a deep understanding of GenAI products. He also brings a wealth of expertise in building intelligent data-driven solutions. His journey spans industry giants like PayPal, Fidelity, GE Capital, and ASAPP, where he has worked at the intersection of finance, technology, and product innovation. So his skill emphasis predictive modeling, machine learning, and deep learning algorithms. He holds an MA in economics from the prestigious Delhi School of Economics, and also Aniket is one of our alumni in the PGP Data Science program. So before handing over to the speaker, I will give you the basic instructions of this webinar. So this is a listen only mode webinar. Whatever queries or doubts you have, you can put it in the Q&A section, which is in the menu below, or else you can also make use of the chat section. Thank you. Over to you, Aniket.
Thank you, Vikas. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for taking out time joining the session on a weekday. And thanks, Vikas, for introducing as well. As Vikas already mentioned about the agenda, so we're going to talk about today the especially the role of data scientist in the era of Gen AI, right? So generative AI is a technology we recently got introduced, like it's just 2.5 years before. Um, um, but it's changing a lot of businesses, lot of processes, technology, right? So there's a lot of change happening, and all of us are going through or witnessing this change. So the idea of today's session is to more about like what are the skills required, how data science as a process or data scientists, are getting updated themselves, and especially people who are aspiring a career in data science, what kind of skills they need to ready for a job in the data science. Okay. So before we go to the process of data science, like I'll just set the context of the session apart from the agenda. So there are mainly three parts of this session. The part one is about we'll try to understand like how currently the data science processes work in any company, right? Example of the data scientist. How what kind of projects they work on? How do they work on the projects? Right. So that will be the part one. The second part will be then we'll move to the skills required to become a data scientist, especially after Gen AI, right? What is the update or what has been has updated already in terms of skills requirements from companies' point of view? What are they looking at in individuals? Third, we look at the market scenario, which is the the how the market is changing, market is shaping up in terms of number of jobs available, the opportunities that are there in data science, and last but not the least is the role of great learning, like how great learning prepares you to start your journey. What kind of the program that today we are talking about. I have been an alumni of this DSBA program from Great Learning, one of the students from the initial batches, how I have taken the benefit and what kind of, especially curriculum, the way they have designed, which makes you ready for the job in the market, right? So this is how the flow will be for the session. So the as Vikas already mentioned, this is a listen only mode webinar. So, but you can ask as many questions as possible. You want to ask, please use the chat option or the Q&A option box section to ask your questions. Towards the end, I'll take up the questions one by one. But yeah, please feel free to ask or add any as many questions as you can. So don't keep your doubts to yourself. Just share it. Uh, I mean, don't shy in asking questions. Okay. So with that, let's start the discussion part one. So let's start with the data science process, right? Flow. Like, um, how does a data scientist work in a project? What is the step one? What is step two? What is step three, step four, like that, right? So let's understand that. Um, so the process starts from, let's say, if you are a data scientist, right? So um, the first and foremost point that you try to understand is the problem statement, right? So let's say you are working as a data scientist in any company. Let's take an example of maybe Amazon, right? Or retail world. So now let's say the customer comes to you and maybe share a problem with you. The problem is that they want to launch a new product, you know, um, on their website, and they want to target certain customers, right? So they want to launch a product, and for that product, they may be launching a campaign, and for that campaign, they want to target certain customers. Who are the most probable customers who can take that product, right? That is what we are trying to estimate here or predict here, right? So clearly, you can see with the problem statement that this is a predictive problem, right? So we want to predict like who will be the right set of customers who can buy this product in most likelihood scenario, right? In all likelihood scenario, like who will buy this product. That is what you're trying to predict. So that's your problem statement shared by the stakeholder. Now you as a data scientist, you start understanding the problem statement, right? In terms of now this is a problem statement where you have to use historical data to predict like who will be the or look at the existing customers of Amazon, right? To see that, okay, from these customers, who should we target or who are the most likely customers who will buy this product. So then what you will do, the first point is understand the data currently what you have, which means that what are the existing customers. So you'll extract all the required data of those existing customers. After the extracting the data, right? Now here you will be using tools like SQL to extract the data from the database because data may be sitting in a large databases, right? And from that databases you will use SQL query, or it could be no SQL database also, but primarily like queries you will use to extract the data from databases. After extracting the data, right, you will have to move the data into Python environment because here what are you doing additionally is the some EDA. It's called exploratory data analysis. Because second step is your problem based on the problem statement, you try to understand the data, right? Explore the data, right? What are the patterns that are there in the data? For example, one insight could be like you look at the customers who have bought most products from Amazon or who are very highly engaged customer with Amazon, right? Then there is a medium engaged customer with Amazon. Then there are low engaged customers with Amazon because ultimately you're trying to predict customers who are most likely to buy the product. So highly engaged customers matter a lot for you. So then based on the criteria, like maybe they have bought recently a couple of products, the amount of the products were very high, certain category of products they've bought, right? Certain time period they have bought. So like that, you extract the certain different parameters to understand the behavior of these customers. That is a part of EDA, right? Exploratory data analysis. And after that, or during that process, you might be doing some data pre-processing, which means that cleaning the data, right? There could be some format issues in the data. There could be some outliers in the data. There could be some missing information in the data, right? There could be some features that you are missing. You try to add those features. So all those data pre-processing, data cleaning techniques that you use. And this is a very crucial step because here data scientists actually spend a lot of time, right, in the EDA and data pre-processing. That is the most time consuming process for a data scientist. After that, you start building the model here. Now, model requires data in a certain format. So that's why the pre-processing comes into picture. So you pre-process the data, make the data model ready, and start building the model. Now, a predictive model, there are many algorithms available. In, let's say if I talk about machine learning, there are many algorithms available. What algorithm will work in the current scenario, the problem that you're solving is a model selection problem. As a data scientist, you should know like what model will work in what scenario. That is what model building is, right? Or model selection and model building is that you choose the right algorithm for this problem and then start building the model. Now once the model is built, right, You check the performance of the model, or accuracy we call it, right? Whether the model that you build, whether it is accurate or not. How will you know that? You have to check the performance of the model. And after the performance, there could be now this performance check, or which is also called the model validation. It might take a couple of steps back and forth, right? So in that scenario, you of course like go back and forth, validate the model properly, and make sure that the model that you built is robust enough as a final model, and that model goes into production. So as a data scientist, then you work with engineering team, and then engineering team deploys your model. Okay, and you proceed on that final algorithm. And then I mean, the final model that you have is basically you discuss with the stakeholder, showcase the results of the model, and the tell the I mean the customers that, okay, these are the set of customers that you have found out, top customers. So share your insights. You might be discussing with them via PPT or maybe a report generation, right? So that is your presentation to the stakeholders after building the model before you go into production. So this is the overall process. Again, I have explained a very high level, the steps at a very high level, but there'll be lots of case studies in the course that I'm going to talk about. You will be doing, right? During the course, you will be learning all this like thoroughly, right? So, but I have explained at a very high level, a very abstract level of information that I've provided you. But in case anyone has any questions, you can please ask the questions. But overall, I think you got the idea, like how the data sets science as a process works, right? So what is the first step, what is the second step, third step, fourth step, and fifth step, like that. Okay. Now I've talked about, couple of tools already, in the beginning, right? That you extract the data from using SQL, then you move the data to Python notebook, Jupyter notebook, and then Jupyter notebook, you might be running some Python, codes there to build the model, to do the EDA, etc. So those are the skills that, a data scientist has to have to become a data scientist, right? So for example, so I divide this skill into primarily three parts, right? So one is the technology skills. What is technology skill? The technology skills are basically two types: the tools that you need to know and the techniques that you need to know. What are the tools? Primarily for a data scientist, we should be good at Python, SQL, Tableau, and Excel. These four tools are very important, right? There are a couple of other tools also like R and SAS, but they are again complementary to Python. So Python is the most popular language, programming language that we need to learn to become a data scientist. So Python, SQL, Excel, and Tableau, these four tools are mandatory for a data scientist. Then technique wise, you should be very good at machine learning techniques. So there are a couple of machine learning techniques like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, etc. All the details will come later in the course. Now Gen AI also, like Gen AI algorithms also, right, to become a data scientist. So that is the technical or the techniques that we need to learn. So we have technology skills. In the technology, we need to know the tools and the techniques to become a data scientist. Then we have the other skills are the business skills. Now, business skills comes with experience. So many of you might be freshers. So for them, this is not applicable. But for people who are experienced already, coming already from some domain, the domain knowledge is expected from them, right? So for example, somebody coming from marketing. So then marketing, how does marketing work, right? What are the like problems there which can be solved via predictive algorithms, machine learning algorithms in data science? You should be knowing about them. So that is a domain knowledge. Then third part is your uh, mathematical and statistical knowledge. Now, what is mathematical and statistical knowledge? Again, mathematical knowledge is like you don't have to be a mathematician or statistician to become a data scientist, but a good level of knowledge is expected, right, from you. Now, how can you get that knowledge? That knowledge can be, you can get that knowledge by primarily, again, the course will actually teach you that, but the foundations, the fundamentals of maths and statistics are required, which are covered in the course in detail. Okay, so these three types of skills are required, and especially to just to stretch the point on the mathematical part, it's mainly the numbers, right? So analytical thinking that is expected from you as a data scientist. Okay. So in case anyone has any questions, so you can always ask in the chat, like additional skills if you have any query regarding that. Now, what kind of roles and responsibilities perform in your companies, right? In the companies after becoming a data scientist, or in this field actually. So primarily there are two roles that are applicable after especially doing this course, right? And related which are very related to each other as well, called data scientist and business analyst or data analyst, right? So data scientist, I'll tell you the difference also between the two, but mostly they overlap. So for data scientists, primarily the role of a data scientist is the model building, predictive model building, machine learning algorithm. A data scientist, 90% of the time works on the modeling or predictive models, machine learning algorithm, GenAI algorithm, data science algorithm, etc. For business analyst, primarily, the role of a business analyst is the data analytics questions or problems. What do I mean by that? And what is the difference? So, there, for a data analyst, he or she doesn't have to learn the machine learning, or I should not say learn, I should say that the data scientist or so business analyst primarily works on the data analytics tasks, which might not involve the predictive models, right? So any kind of analysis like prescriptive, descriptive, diagnostic, some issue come, let's say the company revenue is falling for the last 6 months, right? So you're doing a historical data analysis, right? Some kind of segmentation, right? High engagement, low engagement, medium engagement, customer segmentation, any analysis on the data, A/B test experimentation. If these kind of analysis you are performing on the data, now here you can see that a predictive model is not required, and predictive model is not always required for all the data problems. Some data problems are predictive, some data problems are not predictive, right? Or some business problems are predictive by nature. Some business problem can be solved without predictive algorithms also. So all the tasks which are non-predictive in nature are primary responsibility for a business analyst or a data analyst. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't work on the data science algorithms, they or machine learning algorithms. They can, right? That's why the skills also overlap. So it depends. Sometimes, the requests come to business analysts also of predictive problem, predictive algorithm. So in that case, they have to also use the machine learning algorithms there, right? So that's the main difference between the data scientist and business analyst, which is the ML algorithm, machine learning algorithms, predictive algorithms. So one person works on the predictive algorithms primarily, and one on the non-predictive side, which is the business analyst and data analyst. Okay, but in both the cases, domain knowledge is required. Yes, the technical skills we discussed in on the previous page, the tools and the techniques are the same. Like Python, both of them have to learn. Tableau, both of them have to learn. Excel, both of them have to learn. SQL, both of them have to learn. Right. So all these they have to learn. Only the difference could be that the machine learning algorithms might be required for some roles in the data analyst profile in some companies, not all the companies, but in some companies not required. Okay, that's on the data science and the business analyst side. Now, another role that you see here on the slide is data engineer. Now, data engineer is an engineering profile. That's not for that's not the data, that's different from data scientist and data analyst, right? So data engineers are profile people are coming from engineering background, right? So they work on this ETLs, right? So which is responsible for primarily responsible for the data infrastructure, like how the data will flow in the databases, right? How data scientists and data analysts can access the data from the databases. That's their responsibility. Building those APIs, making data available for the company, real time, batch, etc. That is the role of a data engineer. That's a different role altogether. So, but that's why this role is something coming from the engineering side. We, in this course, from the DSPA program, we are focusing on the data analyst and business analyst role in the market. Okay, so that's on the roles and responsibility side. Now let's understand like how GenAI has evolved in the last 2.5 years, and what is the impact of uh, what its impact on the data science world, right? Uh, so so far I have given example that on the first slide was on the predictive or machine learning algorithm, right? Which means that let's say you want to predict a customer will buy the product or not, you might be building some kind of predictive algorithm, likelihood or propensity to buy, something like that. That's a machine learning problem. right? Where you analyze historical data and predict the future. In the GenAI, now as you can see the name, right? So GenAI is the full form of GenAI is generative artificial intelligence. Now, when you say generative, as the name suggests, right, here you are actually generating, right, the task. Of course, it's a prediction. It involves prediction. Inherently, it is prediction only. But primarily, you are doing generative task here. What do I mean by generative task? For example, you're writing a code, right? Uh, Writing a code for your model, for data science model that you're building. You are, let's say, not good at the code, or maybe you want to write a very efficient code, right, for your problem that you're solving. You can use GenAI there, and you can just simply communicate with GenAI or any algorithm of GenAI. Let's say LLM is one algorithm. You can communicate with the LLM by a simple, you can say, prompt, right? And in the prompt you write, okay, help me building this model, give me the code of writing this random forest model, for example. So then what GenAI or as an algorithm the LLM will do is will write the code for you, and that code you can copy paste in your Python notebook and run that. Ideally, if it's a good LLM or GenAI algorithm, it'll give you the code right in the first time itself. If it's not a good one, then maybe there's a back and forth, some iteration here and there, and you will maybe after two, three iterations, you can get the right code, which will work as is. You don't have to do anything there. So here, what did AI do? AI wrote the code for you. It worked as an assistant, you know, to you for you, and then solve the problem. The problem you are facing is the code. The code could be lengthy, the code could be complex, like that. Similarly, you have a code, you want to understand line by line what does that code mean. You couldn't understand that. The code is complex, somebody written very badly, so on and so forth. You can take that code, use the prompt in in LLM, let's say Chat GPT, for example, and then you ask the Chat GPT, okay, help me understand this code. I could not understand that. Is there any alternative way to write the code? Then ideally, Chat GPT should give you the output. Again, output means that it should be able to explain you the code end to end and also give you the alternative code if you're not able to understand that code, right? So that is the task that GenAI can do, and that is the evolution part. Now imagine somebody has to build a website, some software engineer. Now the software engineer doesn't have to, and let's say the software engineer is a backend engineer. He does not know about the nodes, Node.js or JavaScript, etc., which means that the person cannot write the code for the website. Now, what the software engineer will do is will use ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write a website code for him. And then ideally, ChatGPT should be able to do that, right? The same code, and he will use and then build the website from scratch. So the backend engineer is able to do the front end work. Similarly, front end engineer can do the back end work, right? So this is how Gen AI is changing. Now imagine any product, any prototype, any real, product. If we have to build, we can use these Gen AI tools, which can generate the codes for us, which can build some websites for us, which can build some, any, let's say maybe we want the call summarization, right? Meeting summarization for us. Anything you want to understand. In research area, you might need help in research, right? Analyzing the papers, right? You are, let's say, you're a content writer, you want to write the content only for your website. All these things are there for you to use GenAI. All this scenario can be helpful. This is how imagine GenAI is changing the AI world, right? Or especially the data science world. So that's why now the next slide is about the impact on the data science, right? How it is impacting. So I've already given you a couple of examples, how it is helping data scientists, how it is helping, the engineers, how it is helping the businesses, the content writers, the marketing teams, the anywhere you go, right? It has a use case, right? So that's why you see lots of businesses are taking help, like education and learning. Imagine that you are facing an issue in understanding maths. You can take ChatGPT's help. Business and finance, customer support, marketing, everywhere you can use this, right? How do you use these models? One is via prompting, right? You can actually use the prompt, but where do you use prompt? There are lots of providers, right? These two, like ChatGPT is one, which is coming from the OpenAI company, Claude models, which are coming from Anthropic, Gemini models, which are coming from Google, Alphabet, right? And there are some open source models also provided by to you, Hugging Face repositories, you can use directly, right? So these are the models you use via APIs. Now, the good part is that these models you don't have to build on your own, right? You can use the existing model. So there are model providers now in the market who can provide these models. So in ML, what you are doing is data scientists were actually building these models from scratch, right? You like, for example, the first example, predicting the likelihood of a person buying the product. You have to build the model from scratch. In Gen AI, the other part is that you don't have to build the model now. You can use these models. These are available via APIs. So directly you can use these models, right? So that's and also in a case if required, right? You can also train the models. There are ways to train these models, and there are organizations who are training, or there are companies who are building, these models from scratch by using techniques like, let's say, training the LLMs, or maybe existing models can be fine tuned or can be improved upon, using techniques like RAG and all. Like for example, chatbot is the best example of RAG, right? So like that, we can use the Gen AI, and then this is how it is changing the world. You can see that here there are lots of use cases. Code generation, I gave the example. Data generation, EDA, it can perform automation of routine tasks. Anything we want to use in automation, right? There are lots of information available around Gen AI in the market. Which data scientists actually use now. Imagine that model building can be easily performed by a Gen AI algorithm. Okay. Okay, so what's new in the industry? So let's now deep dive into the Gen AI world. So for example, recently, like I think 3 days before the GPT-5, the fifth generation of the model came, public, right? Which means that OpenAI as a company released their best model, which is the flagship model, they call it GPT-5, right? Now, the models so far has been, we call it like non-reasoning mode. We have seen like in the last couple of, initially the first versions of the models were like non-reasoning. So when you say reasoning, what do we mean by that? Reasoning means that think about like a scenario where, you are predicting something, and you are not thinking over prediction. Just like, there is a data, and with the data you are actually predicting something. Now in the reasoning mode, you take a step back, which means that there is a system 2 which gets activated in our mind, like our brain, right? So we actually think before sharing the output. So which means that in a way, models actually evaluate the process step by step before they share with you some output, right? So let's say, for example, can I target this person for this product? So one without thinking will be based on the probability score. Yes, we should, think we should actually target this customer. But with thinking mode, with reasoning mode, you'll find out, okay, the data scientist is asking me to target this customer for the campaign, right? Product will buy or not. Then you will evaluate everything, whatever you've done, and to make sure that you are right, you can say yes or no again. So this is called reasoning, which means that you go back, right? Reason over the probable answers and give the best answers, right? This is called reasoning, right? Like why are you giving the output if something you're giving? That is called reasoning. It's called so called system two thinking. You basically think before you share something, right? What how does so what it does, it actually improves your accuracy, right? The way you perform, it targets better. The chances of models becoming better and better are more with reasoning, so on and so forth. So these are a couple of new, you'll see every models these days, every company is releasing the thinking mode, right? Like for example, code generation also, right? If you're generating some code might not work, but now when you reason over, you actually evaluate the code whether it will work or not based on your question. So before the model shares with the final output, right, it gives you the right, it tries to give you the best response. Okay, so that's on the Gen AI side. um any questions on that, please feel free to ask. Now, with that, we move to the second part, which is the market of data science. How does the market looks like? What is the market trend, right? So you can see that there is a so we see that a lot of job challenges or opportunity challenges are there, but with the data science or Gen AI, with especially engineering, AI engineering, data science engineering is actually increasing. The roles are increasing. So this has been happening, and this will happen in future as well, right? You can see by 2030, from 24 to 2024 to 2030, the compounding growth rate is 26%, which means that more than like double data scientists will be required in the next 5 years. And this data also shows, right, from that globally, the job demand will be 11.5 million. And within India, we see there is a 300% increase in the role of data scientist. That's how the job market looks like, right? Now, I will talk about the actually just this high level. I will talk about the career path for a data scientist, and then we'll move to the how great learning can help you in achieving that. So when we talk about career path, right? So it depends on what stage are you at in your career, and how you can start your journey. The first level is which is the fresher level. So people who are like somewhere fit between 0 to 2 years, right? Which means that people who are currently working or not working, like they have experience of 2 to 3 years or less than 3 years, all of them will fall in the first category. They'll be considered as a fresher in the data scientist, right? Or you can start from your side also as a fresher, right? So in the fresher role, your primary responsibility will be to, like, somebody will be a mentor for you, somebody will be a buddy for you, and you will have to work on the data science, algorithm, the problem statement examples that I earlier mentioned, like that. But somebody will be helping you, but you also need to be good at technically. So your requirements in the market will be, you need to be very good at Python, SQL, Tableau, Excel, the techniques, machine learning techniques. You need to be very good at. If I have to, scale or rank out of 10, it'll be 9 out of 10, right? You need to be that good in coding, in, machine learning techniques, like that. You should be able to apply as soon as you see the data, you should be able to apply the model. That's the expectation of the market from you. Then you, let's say, slightly more experience, 2 to 5 years, right? So there the expectation is now you start handling project little independently, little bit, not like fully. It depends, like, where are you. If you're 5 years, then maybe fully, but if you're 2 years, then not fully. 2 year plus, then not fully. But the idea is here that you understand the problem statement. Again, technical knowledge is more. Now here, business knowledge is slightly also getting added value, right? To make sure that you're in a domain, you understand the domain, right? If you're working in a company, make sure that you understand the problems, or especially the business knowledge. You have the business knowledge about the company, the products that they have, right? So because you start getting involved in customer conversations more, and you share your opinions, you get the customer feedback, right? And then accordingly you update your thoughts, update your models, so on and so forth. So in that way, you need to be technically plus business wise also need to be good at. Third is the 5 to 10 year category. Now here you move to more like a independent role, right? Here you are becoming fully independent, and now you start solving the customer problems on your own, right? Fully, you should be having knowledge of technical plus business. You understand well the problems. You're able to solve the issues independently on your own. No need to, no, I mean, on a project level, you don't have any dependency, right? Unless the problem is so complex, then of course there are people who can help you, but otherwise not required. But then 10 to 15 years is basically you are leading the portfolio now. You must be leading the team of data scientists, engineers, analysts, right? Solving their problems. It's up to, again, the business to business, company to company. How does that work? But basically you solve those kind of problems. Okay. So that's how the experience, the career path of a data scientist, or engineering is being followed in the industry. Let's now move to the fourth part, which is the great learnings, uh, um, advantage, right? What it has and how it can, take you to that path, start your journey as a data scientist. So of course, everybody here would be knowing about Great Learning. They are actually one of the best ed tech platform, especially in data science and business analytics courses. More than 18,000 people have made the career transition so far. There are companies who have been partnering with the Great Learning for many years. 4,000 plus partners have hired from Great Learning. More than 400 million plus hours of learning content has been delivered. 7,600 plus gurus are there, right? And not only that, the courses are available or applicable across the globe, which means the Great Learning has partnerships across the global universities, like you can see University of Texas, McCombs School of Business, John Hopkins University, Walsh College, right? MIT, Northwestern University, etc. So all the certificates are there. Great Learning has tie-ups, which means that the certifications or the courses that you do are globally recognized. You can go anywhere and see the value of the course. Okay. So the course that we are specifically talking about, which I have also been an alumni of, is the PGP Data Science. So that course is again is updated with the GenAI module, because the demand of GenAI in these in these days, especially by companies, so it actually makes you ready to use Chat GPT like tools or Claude, or right, how you can solve business problem using GenAI. The example that I gave you, right, how you can implement that in the real world, right? The other part is AI and business analytics modules. So which is again the ML and business analytics, which I already talked about, right? So it has especially the course is designed in such a way that people who are complete freshers, right, who do not know Python, starts from day zero of Python. SQL they do not know, so they get to know about SQL from day zero again. Also the Tableau, right, or Excel, all of you the tools that you learn thoroughly in the course, as if you are a fresher. Statistics, maths, all of you learn in the course. And this course is designed in such a way, it's more like doing than only learning, right? So meaning that there are lots of projects available. 60 plus case studies are there. 11 plus hands-on projects are there, which means you will be doing a lot of hands-on, right? Rather than knowing, actually is more on doing side, more on the doing side. You learn a lot by doing hands-on work, so that after the course, you feel any problem that might come to you, right? You should be able to solve the problem, right? By using techniques that you have learned here. Okay. So then what about the overall course structure here? So the course is about 11 months plus 1 month of capstone, right? Total 12 months of program. It is designed for working professionals who do not have any experience, assuming that you do not have any experience in data science or machine learning. The certificate that you get from Great Learning and University of Texas, Austin, which means a dual certification, which means you can actually, dual certification means it's applicable for across the globe, right? So it's actually one of the number one course in the market, in terms of top three courses like in the market. It is recognized by a lot of platforms, and idea is to give you a more hands-on experience. You're part of a group which is peers to you, so right, you get build a strong networking. Also the mentors are also aligned with your your experience level, so that you basically net in a you are in an environment which is pro learning, right, for you, and you should be able to um, do good there. So in terms of very quickly, I would like to talk about the curriculum part. So curriculum is again designed in such a way that you are very like naive or starting from zero in data science and machine learning and Gen AI all. So there are modules which are Python specific, like starting from day zero, Python, SQL, Tableau. You can see that, right, and then statistics, inferential statistics, and basic statistics are covered. And then you have machine learning, predictive modeling, machine learning, two neural networks, which is deep learning, right? And then Gen AI also, you can see. So all the the three skills that I mentioned in the beginning, the tool level, techniques level, business level, and then plus your mathematical and basic statistics and mathematics is also covered, right? So this is the again the tools and languages in detail that you can see listed here. But primarily you can see below the capstone project, the hackathon, the case studies. I already mentioned 60 plus case studies are there, 11 plus projects are there, POCs are there. You can bring your own problem. There are capstone projects which you can actually use that to solve this, right? So those things can be are part of this course. So you get actually immersive experience in learning. With that, I would now take a pause and invite questions from your side. Anything you want me to highlight more, dig deep dive more, happy to answer them.
Aniket, there are a few questions in the Q&A section.
Yeah, we'll take those questions. Okay, let me see. Yeah. So how AI and ML and data science link together. I think Ganesh is asking this question. So it's basically the difference is technical, which means that the algorithms, some algorithms fall in the ML category, like supervised learning, unsupervised learning. The example that I gave in the beginning was ML, machine learning. The data science is primarily encompasses everything. So there was a slide that I was earlier, showing this one, right? You can see that here. So AI is basically the deep learning algorithms, the Gen AI, part of AI. There is a machine learning and there is a data science, right? So basically, these are the algorithms that they are different based on the algorithms. So these days, I think all these set of like AI, ML, and data sciences are actually completely like overlapped, which means that for a data scientist, everything has to be learned. But primarily, the difference is the algorithms there. Okay, Ganesh? I hope that answers the question. At what percentage you see Gen AI is current AI market in India, and what is the scope of market share of it? At what rate Gen AI is evolving? See, Gen AI is evolving. I would answer the last part first, and then we'll move to the first part later. So the Gen AI evolution is across the industry, right? So you will see that maybe not today, but in next 3, 4, or 5 years, everybody is by default Gen AI trained. So that's how the growth rate is, whatever number you can take. But every company will be, asking you the Gen AI level questions in the next couple of years, if not now. Most of the roles they're asking, today also. But in case today they're not asking, in the next couple of years they'll be asking, and you'll be doing a lot of projects using AI tools for sure, right? So current AI market in India is growing, of course, and it is only the scope, right? So you will see that Gen AI, the models and all will be the scope for any role you're applying in AI field or data scientist field. Does that make sense, Amit? Gen AI business architect will work in tune with data scientist. That's a different role. See, business architect, when we say business architect, there's no business architect role as such. There is an architect role, which is technical role. There's a business role, which is a primarily the product management role, you can say. So there are AI product manager roles are there. Technical architect role, Gen AI architect role are separate. They are more on the engineering family side, right? So um, there is an overlap with the data science skills. Yes. So primarily the data scientists can become both on the business side or the technical side, right? So they can become on the technical architect of Gen AI if they are more into engineering. If they're more into business problem solving, they can go into product management role. Like I have been a data scientist before, and now I moved to AI product management, right? So for me now, I have taken a business path and I moved to a product manager role. I was a data scientist until 2017. Okay, I hope that answers the question, Amit. How much hours dedication per week would be needed for this course? See, as much as you can, but again, the way the course is structured, I think 4 to 5 hours per week is more than enough to start with, right? And later on, when you get an interest, you automatically spend a lot of time there. But it's more like doing by learning. So, right? So you do projects. So the idea is so once you start learning this, right? And if you learn this well, you would be able to apply this. You don't have to learn it separately then. You would be able to apply this in your work. So it means that you're actually doing your work only. So no additional hour is required. But initially to learn the concept, to understand the algorithm, to practice, we need a couple of hours, which is 4 or 5 hours per week is required. Okay. Pratik is asking, I'm an HR sourcing and ops background. I have 12 years of experience. Is it helpful for me to career transition? Yes. It's good for you because, see, the reason is because HR analytics and HR in data science and HR, there are lots of products being built in HR, HR, Gen AI space, right? The HR technology. We call it HR tech, right? A lot of companies are there who are using Gen AI to build products in HR space. So your domain actually overlaps with Gen AI. So definitely it makes sense for you to make a career move. And you can make a career move based on your business, inclination or technical inclination. But in both those scenarios, you need to learn AI. So for you, it'll be a very good time to, because you're coming from a HR domain, it's a good time to learn this, course and algorithms. Okay, Thik? For the Java developer having more than 15 years of experience, PG with 1 year course versus master 2 years course in AI, what has been? See, it's only the eligibility part. Some companies look for, let's say, 2 years experience as a master, then the masters are required. But otherwise, you have to compare the content where you're learning more. You are already 15 years of experience, right? I don't think so. Your selection will be there only based on your 2 years versus 1 year experience. in the education, right? Primarily, you should compare the content. Like, what are you learning in 1 year? What are you learning in 1 year or 2 years? Unless you are targeting something else, for example, MBA and all. Those are different things. But my point is that your selection in the next job will be based on your experience, previous experience, plus the knowledge that you have. If you're getting the knowledge in 1 year only, you should do 1 year. Otherwise, you can go for 2 years. You have to compare the content for that. Does that make sense, Ganesh? Okay, dysentery is one of the algorithm. So programming language is Python, the best to learn. Okay, so I hope I answered the question. Any more questions we have, because in the chat?
Uh, I think there is one, but not a clear statement. Can I do a BSc in data science and management?
Yeah, that's a different course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope in the Q&A I've answered all the questions. Any question, anyone has a follow-up, please ask.
Is any doubt related to the course or the curriculum, the fee structure, or how many hours the course will be? It is a weekend course or whatever queries you have about the course, you can fill the form, and our team will get back to you with all the answers that you need, right? Even if you want to know the details about the upcoming DS webinars, or if you are interested in any other programs as well, right, you can fill the form. um, our team will get back with you with all the answers. I will share you the form one more time. You can fill this form. There is one question
Yeah.
in Q&A.
Will
Yeah.
the people? So I think that's a good question. Yes, the answer is yes. It's a little bit harder people who are coming from non-technical background. See, I have a real-time experience. I do not have a programming or technical background. I don't come from a B.Tech family of courses, education. So, but initially you have to spend more time. But Python is such a language that is easy to learn. So I was able to pick up. So initially, yes, you have to spend more time, but you will realize that once you learn, and especially now, right? So you don't have to be an expert in programming to start with. Of course, you need programming, beyond a certain point. But otherwise, to start with, because of GenAI, now the prompt engineering, or let's say prompting, is more important. So you don't need to actually go line by line coding, or learn the programming theory to start with. But people from the good part of GenAI help is that you are now, being a non-technical person, you can actually, start using AI algorithm from day one. Earlier, it used to take time. For us, there was a transition period, right? And which means
Uh, Aniket, we cannot hear you. Aniket, can you hear me? Aniket, can you hear me?
yeah, sorry, I dropped off, maybe somehow mistakenly, because yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I hope I answered the last question, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Do we have more questions?
I think questions are based on the courses. I think that can be answered once they fill the form. I think other than that, I don't see any question
Okay.
related. Yeah.
All the best, guys. Hope to see you in the program. All the
Okay.
best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aniket. Yeah. So guys, you can fill this form. So there is one question regarding how many hours of dedication. per week would needed for this course. See, course is very specifically designed for working professionals, right? So the classes will be on the weekends only, and it will be around 2 to 4 hours. I think so. You can fill this form, right? So see, once you fill this form, our team will get back to you with whatever suggestion that you put it in the feedback form. So whatever questions you ask, if you want the brochure, our team will come give you the brochure. If you want the presentation that is did today, they will give you the presentation. Or if you want details about the upcoming webinar, they will give you the details of upcoming webinar, right? Who can do this course? See, anyone, both people from tech background and non-tech background, anyone can do this. This course is specifically designed in a way that even people from non-tech background can learn data science, right? So this course is for everyone. Anyone can join. You don't have to worry about the knowledge of coding and everything here, right? And Kochi. Okay. Um, yes, we do have UG enrolled. There are few UG people who do this course simultaneously because this is a postgraduate program, right? So few students do this, but this is specifically for working professionals. But yes, you can do it. There is no restriction that a student should not do this course or not. You can do this, right? So yeah. So I think you guys, if you have any more questions, you guys can fill the forms. I think I have shared the forms quite a few times. You can fill the forms, right? So that you can get your queries answered as well. So we have 5 more minutes left. We'll wait till 7 p.m. to fill the forms, and we'll end the webinar by 7 p.m., right? Okay. 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 Any more questions I can take up? We have 5 more minutes left. Mm, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your time. Please copy this link and have it with you. And later, if you have any queries, you can fill this form, right? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining.